Hi, Micah. This is Dan. First, I'd just like to thank you for the purchase for the blocking board. The reason I'm making this video is to demonstrate how to use it. I realized after I told you it can do isosceles triangles, it's true, it does, but I saw that you ordered the product with the mat tool, which is expected. However, I omitted, I guess I had a design problem where for the diagonal length, it's not long enough. The mat tool isn't. So I ended up making a mat tool that can support that. And so this video is just going to demonstrate how to use that. So anyway, so the intention is how I do it is I first start out with my blocking board with the arms all the way in, and I put my posts where I think I'll need them. And in this case here, I have it out, all on the furthest holes out. You can put them in further if you want to, but if you have a large block, you would have it there. So then I don't actually have a isosceles triangle, and I noticed you didn't either. I know you just kind of folded a block in half. So I'm just going to do the same thing and show you how to do that. So I realize this would be normally just a half a triangle, or I'm sorry, half a square. So anyway, so you just insert it on the ends. This is kind of the first step to size the product out and get it to where you want it. And I'll do it kind of crudely. I know you'll do a much neater job. So once I get it on the posts, I take it all the way down. And then at this point, you can then start turning the wheel to extend the arms out. And you'll notice that it grows. Kind of the whole purpose of the design, right? An adjustable blocking board. And so you get about where you want it, like that. And then after you do that, you go ahead and remove it from your board. And then the next step is to take this alignment tool. And the alignment tool is really not needed when you just have a few squares at the bottom. But when you have them all stacked up, the tension of the board, of the blocks, will start pulling these arms in just a little bit. And when it does that, that's not what you want. So that's what this tool is for. It's to really keep that exact, basically keeping the posts vertical. So what I do is you loosen the top a little bit. And then starting from the, and by the way, there's a little thread here. And so eventually when we get this hooked onto the post, then I want it to fit into that little hole right there. And that's how you'll know it's perfectly aligned. So anyway, just keep in mind that there's a thread right there. So, okay, so anyway, so I start out with the bottom arms on the tool, and I fit that over the posts on the opposite sides. And since we only have 3 posts, you just need to hook up 3, of course. And then you can go ahead and drop that down. It should slide fairly well. Sometimes it can kind of get hung up, but this, that's just because it's not quite parallel. So once you get it in there, and as I mentioned, you want that in the bottom of the hole, so it gives it perfect alignment. And then go ahead and tighten this up at this point. So once you've done that, your tool is now set, and you don't want to adjust it anymore, and you don't want to turn this wheel anymore, because then you'll have arms that are not scaled for the tool that I have over here, the tool here. So all right. So then once you do that, then the next step is to put on the mat tool. And so since you got an isosceles triangle, you'll do the 2 equal sides first. And then notice that there's a little rim here. I should have probably pointed that out a little bit. So there's a kind of a right angle to them right there. See if you can see that right there. Yeah. And then you want the points facing away, or away from, going outward like that. So put those 2 on. And then this is the tool that I forgot to design and thinking, I just didn't think it through for isosceles triangles. And so anyway, so I quickly made a new design and put that on there. And so then you just put that on there like that. So now you got all the points that you can have on there. And then now you can go ahead and put your square or your triangle back on, like so. And right, and then push that down. And then at this point, you'll just kind of start, putting the putting the edges of the block over the points on the mat tool. And I'm not going to do a great job here just because, you know, and especially since it's double wide, right? I folded it in half, and I know you wouldn't normally have that. So, and this is the part that, you know, you definitely want. You got this nice long side here, and you need to make sure that you have all the points, you know, that it's stretching the block as far as it needs to go on there. So, all right, so then you got that. And then, as I mentioned before, right here, you know, there's no real reason to use the tool at this point, but once you get your you know, say like 10 or 20 blocks on here, then this will help keep that aligned. And you may have to kind of pull, oops, and one thing to keep in mind is get it the right way. And there we go. So then I can just go down to the bottom. So anyway, that's the purpose of the tool, is to keep these things stretched out and perfectly vertical. All right, so if you have any questions, please feel free to always, you know, email me or through Etsy Messenger. Just you know, ask me a question on how to use it, but that's how it's supposed to be done. All right, again, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the tool. Thank you.